Hey everyone, and welcome. Does life ever feel like it's just a lot? Like you're constantly moving, constantly juggling notifications, deadlines, responsibilities, expectations? I know I feel that way often. It feels like we're all wading through this noise, just trying to find a little bit of calm, some balance, maybe even a sense of purpose. We're trying to figure out who we are, what we're meant to be doing, and frankly, how to stop our minds from being pulled in a million different directions at once. It might sound a bit strange, but today I want to talk about something ancient that I've found speaks with surprising clarity right into the middle of all this modern chaos: the Bhagavad Gita. Now, stick with me here. I'm not necessarily talking about it as a religious text, but more as this timeless guide, a conversation written over 2,000 years ago that offers incredible insights on how to live, think, and make peace with our struggles. Even though it's ancient, I truly believe its ideas are deeply relevant for us today, especially when we're feeling stressed, anxious, or just plain lost. So let's break it down. At its core, the Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue. Imagine this scene. One person is deeply confused, totally overwhelmed emotionally. He's at a massive crossroads, torn between his feelings and what he knows he has to do. He really doesn't want to face this incredibly difficult situation. He wants to run, hide, avoid the whole thing. Now, doesn't that sound incredibly familiar? Seriously, how often do we feel that way? When the pressure is just too much, when things don't make sense, when our personal and professional lives feel like they're crushing us, we all sometimes wish there was someone, something, that could offer a little clarity. And that's where I find the Gita so helpful. It doesn't hand out easy answers or a set of rigid instructions. Instead, it acts like a mirror. It helps us understand our own thoughts, our emotions, our actions on a much deeper level. One of the biggest reasons I think we feel so stressed or anxious is that we get incredibly attached to outcomes. We worry constantly about how things will turn out. Will I succeed or fail? Will people appreciate this? Will it go according to my plan? This constant mental tension just drains us. The Gita suggests something really practical here, something I try to practice myself. Focus on your effort, not the results. Now, this doesn't mean you stop caring about success or give up on your goals. Not at all. It simply means shifting your focus. If you pour your attention into doing your absolute best, with sincerity, the results will often take care of themselves. Or even if they don't go exactly as planned, you've done your part. Think about it. You can't control everything that happens out there, but you can control the heart, the time, the sincerity you put in. I found this simple shift can really change how I approach work and life. It calms the mind because you're not constantly doing that mental calculus of gains and losses. You're just here, in the present, doing what needs to be done, and letting go of that clinging anxiety about what might or might not happen. Another concept from the Gita that I find incredibly powerful is this idea of detached involvement. I know it sounds like a total contradiction at first. How can you be involved and detached? But let's look closer. I like to think of an ER doctor. She cares deeply about her patients, right? She works with intense focus, does everything humanly possible to help, but she also knows she can't get emotionally shattered every single time she loses someone. If she did, she wouldn't be able to function, to help the next person. That, to me, is detached involvement. You give your absolute all, but you don't let every outcome control your peace of mind. This isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's about being stable, centered, and strong enough to handle the inevitable ups and downs without completely breaking down. The Gita also talks so much about the importance of self-awareness. And this is huge. I really believe most of our problems don't come directly from the world, but from the stories we tell ourselves about the world. We worry because we overthink. We suffer because we compare. We panic because we identify so strongly with things outside of us: our job title, our social media image, our possessions, even our relationships. And when those external things get shaken or threatened, we feel like we are falling apart. But if we can understand ourselves a little better, our thought patterns, our habits, our desires, our fears, we can start to create a little space between who we truly are and what's happening around us. The Gita really encourages this kind of inner observation. It asks you to pause, look inside, and gently ask, okay, why am I feeling this way? What's really bothering me here? Is this thought actually helping me? Or is it just making things worse? It's like training your mind to become your ally instead of your worst enemy. Now let's talk about purpose. Oh, the big P. So many of us wrestle with this question. What am I even supposed to do with my life? We look around, compare ourselves to others, feel inadequate, maybe chase trends, or settle for paths that just don't feel authentic deep down. The Gita offers such a refreshing, honest perspective on this. It basically says, do what suits your nature. Don't just blindly copy someone else's path, even if it looks amazing from the outside. Find what fits your unique strengths, your values, your temperament, and commit to that. The text actually says it's better to do your own work imperfectly than to do someone else's work perfectly. What a relief that can be, right? Especially in today's hyper-competitive world where we feel like we always have to be outdoing everyone. The Gita reminds us that real, fulfilling purpose doesn't come from external applause or validation, but from that feeling of internal alignment. When your actions match your inner nature, you feel a sense of peace. You're not constantly second-guessing. You don't feel like an imposter. You know you're on the right track, not because it's suddenly easy, but because it's yours. And then there's emotional strength. Life throws curveballs: loss, failure, illness, loneliness. These things happen to all of us. But why do some people seem to break down completely, while others manage to bounce back, sometimes even stronger? I think a huge part of the answer lies in how we manage our thoughts. The Gita teaches that emotional stability doesn't come from trying to avoid pain altogether. That's impossible. It comes from understanding pain. It comes from accepting that change is the nature of life, and that no state, good or bad, lasts forever. Think about it like the weather. It changes constantly. So do our emotions, our situations, our moods. If we can learn to ride the waves, observe them without panicking every time we feel low or anxious, we build incredible resilience. The Gita isn't asking us to suppress our feelings or become robots. Not at all. It's inviting us to watch them, understand where they come from, and crucially, not be ruled by them. This mindset, I believe, can make a world of difference for anyone dealing with anxiety or depression. When you stop automatically believing every negative thought that pops into your head, when you stop reacting intensely to every inner storm, you start to feel a sense of freedom.